The Steelers trade rumors just keep coming as the Steelers have been named a top trade destination for Derrick Henry before the NFL trade deadline. Then also the Chase Young trade rumors are back here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to once again tell you guys why this would be a stupid idea for Omar Khan and the Steelers to pursue. And then also there's been some rumors going around Steelers Twitter, some suggestions that the Steelers should go out and sign offensive tackle Lael Collins in NFL free agency. I'm going to tell you why I don't think the Steelers are going to make that move towards the end of today's show, so make sure you guys stick around. But before we get into today's slate of Steelers rumors, go ahead and click that subscribe button and help us win our sub battle with the rest of the AFC North teams here at Chat Sports. Right now, the Browns Report is currently leading with 230 subscribers. They have never beaten us in a sub battle in the history of our channel. We can't let that happen now. We have until Sunday to beat them. So help us do your part here. Click that subscribe button and let's beat the Browns Report this week. All right, now let's get into Derrick Henry here, where the Steelers currently have the 5th highest odds to land the former All-Pro running back here via trade before the NFL trade deadline. And Henry is the latest in a slew of different running backs that have been rumored to the Pittsburgh Steelers in recent days. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, we've covered those guys on the show. So now let's talk about Derrick Henry and the possibility of bringing him here to the Steel City. So far this season, 425 yards rushing, 70.8 yards per game to this point, 3 touchdowns, and then his rush yards over expectation. So that's a sabermetric there. It's collected by Next Gen Stats. He's got 66 more yards than he technically should have at this point in the season. And by the way, guys, this is with one of the worst offensive lines in the National Football League. So don't tell me he couldn't put up similar numbers with the Pittsburgh Steelers if he gets traded here. Now let's take a look at the comparison here between Najee Harris, the Steelers' current running back, and Derrick Henry. So you got about 0.4 more yards per carry with Derrick Henry there, 4.3 versus 3.9 yards per game. Right now, Henry is getting about 20 more yards per game. 3 touchdowns to Najee's 0. You look at that rush yards over expectation. Najee is about getting what he's supposed to be getting, but Derrick Henry is overperforming by 66 yards to this point. And then you look at the success rate. So pretty much what success rate is that based on the down and distance, a running back has to get a certain amount of yards for it to be considered a successful run. Like, for example, if it's 3rd and 3, you're required to get 3 yards for it to be a successful run because you need a first down on 3rd down. So Derrick Henry right now is 44.9, whereas Najee Harris just has 22.2, which is one of the worst in the National Football League. So, I think that the big question that you need to dissect here is, should the Steelers even go and target a running back here before the trade deadline? I'm going to give you guys the pro and con here. Let's start with the pros of trading for a running back. You're getting if you can get a legitimate star running back like a Derrick Henry or a Josh Jacobs or a Saquon Barkley, right? Somebody that's going to be top 5 in rushing year in and year out. You can build your offense around that player. You can really begin to develop an identity. And then also, because the Steelers' defense is so talented, they could try to go the route of trying to dominate the time of possession, run a lot with their star running back. Of course, you got Jaylen Warren to do some mop-up duty as well. And then you have your defense try to just destroy opposing offenses, right? Turn the ball over, put the offense in good positions to succeed. And especially with a guy like Derrick Henry, you can wear down opponents in the second half. It would be a true identity shift for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because right now Najee Harris just isn't playing all that well, and Kenny Pickett doesn't really look like he's the type of guy that can really carry an NFL offense at this point in his career. But then there's certainly some downsides to going out and trading for a star running back. Not only will you have to pay them likely a big contract, because all 3 of these guys, Barkley, Jacobs, and Henry, are all on their last year of their deal, so you're going to have to sign them back if you trade for them. But, also, the running back isn't even the big issue with the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, right? Najee Harris is not the biggest issue. It is the offensive line, right? They're not creating run lanes for Najee. They're not giving him opportunities to succeed. And you take a look at this offensive line right now in their Pro Football Focus grading. I mean, seriously, the highest graded guy that you have right now is Broderick Jones, and he's only played 2 games as a rookie at 66.5. and nobody is ranking above 27th in their particular category there in terms of their position right now in the National Football League. This needs to get a lot better if the Steelers want to make their identity on offense running the football and kind of having an old school ground and pound approach, no matter who your running back is. So I certainly understand the arguments against trading for a running back, because if you can't figure out the O-line, it's going to be tough rushing the football anyway. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Should the Steelers make a big splash here and go out and get a star running back? Give me a yes or give me a no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or by giving me a no down there in the comments. All right, so now let's talk about some of these this scenario. Let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit. If it's the right decision to go out and trade for a running back, which guy should they trade for? So you look at the top 3 guys that have been mentioned here in Steelers circles: Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry. Here are their 2023 stats here to this point. Yards per carry. Right now, Derrick Henry is the leader in that with 4.3. Josh Jacobs not doing all that well. Rush yards over expectation, -52 after leading the league in rushing last year. Huge drop-off for Josh Jacobs, whereas Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are actually overperforming this year. And then success rate right now, Derrick Henry is actually leading. And Josh Jacobs, maybe the saving grace to this stat line here, is that he's actually getting a 43.9 successful run percentage this season, which is actually pretty decent despite those other 2 figures being a little bit scarier. But let me know down in the comments section, if you were to pick a running back here to head this rushing attack for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving into the future, who would it be? Type SB for Saquon Barkley, type JJ for Josh Jacobs, type DH for Derrick Henry, or if you're cool with sticking with Najee Harris, Najee is your guy, type NH down there in the comments section. For me, if I could pick one of these guys to go into the future with, I'd go with Saquon Barkley. Now, Derrick Henry might be the best short-term option, but he's 29 years old. How much longer is he really going to have the legs to really be a number 1 running back in this league? But Saquon Barkley, he's 26 years old. When he's been healthy, he's been fantastic. I mean, the big thing for him is going to be to stay healthy. He has been riddled with injuries throughout his career, which is why I'm a little bit scared to trade for him. But he's a really nice rusher when he's healthy. He's actually a really good receiver as well as an option for Kenny Pickett out of the backfield. And I overall think right now at 26, he's still got a couple more good years left in him as a true number 1 back in this league. And right now he is overperforming there with the New York Giants. That offense is not doing well. That offensive line is terrible, and he's still overperforming expectations. So I think if you bring him in here in Pittsburgh, it might be the best option moving forward for the black and gold, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Now let's shift over to Chase Young, man, and this is one of my pet peeves. I'm sick and tired of having to address these freaking Chase Young trade rumors. First of all, I don't think Washington is going to trade him. I think Ron Rivera knows that it's playoff or bust this year for him. He doesn't want to trade a premium player, or at least a really high-end player like Chase Young, who's top 5 in pressures right now, to another team. But even if they were going to trade him to somebody, it's not going to be to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are not in the market for another big-name edge rusher. They're just not. Right now, Nick Herbig is doing really well in a rotational role. So is Marcus Golden. You got one of the highest paid and one of the most productive pass rushing duos on the edge there with T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith. This madness simply needs to stop when it comes to Chase Young. I know he's a big name that, Mike Tomlin has complimented in the past, whatever. And I know right now they're 6th in betting odds to acquire Chase Young on the trade market. But one, I don't think the Commanders are trading him, and 2, the Steelers are 100% not going to do this. Okay, you're not going to trade for somebody like Chase Young and then give him a big contract come next season, and then you'll be paying T.J. Watt literally at the top of the market when it comes to edge rushers. You're going to be paying a big contract for your number 2 edge rusher and Alex Highsmith, and then you'd be paying a big contract again for your 3rd edge rusher and Chase Young. That just doesn't make sense, people. Plain and simply, whether it's Brian Burns, whether it's Chase Young, the Steelers are not trading for a big-name edge rusher during this trade period. It's not going to happen, okay? So I'm done talking about edge rushers in these trade rumors videos. I'm just done. I'm not doing it anymore. And if you want to go get an edge, if you really feel like you need some more edge depth, go in free agency and get one there. Frank Clark is still available right now, recently released by the Denver Broncos. He'd be somebody that, with playoff experience, lots of NFL experience, almost 60 career sacks. Go out and get that guy as a backup edge rusher, right? You're not going to have to pay him anything. He's not going to be here multiple years or anything like that. If you feel like you need edge depth, go in free agency and get somebody at the vet minimum contract as opposed to trading very valuable draft capital, not to mention giving somebody a big contract in the future for a big-name guy. It just doesn't make sense. So now coming up here, I'm going to finish off the show by telling you guys whether or not the Steelers should sign Lael Collins in NFL free agency. But first, let's talk about today's sponsor at Gametime. And Gametime is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. I'm somebody that really likes to get tickets kind of last minute, right? I like to go to MLB baseball games, NBA basketball games, concerts, and usually I get that feeling right before the event happens. Gametime is perfect for me in that situation because they've got the lowest price guarantee, and then also they've also got flash deals right before game time, so I always know I'm getting the lowest price, and the prices drop right before game time, which is absolutely fantastic. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason right now, guys. So buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are also sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime today. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code STEELERSCHAT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code STEELERSCHAT for $20 off. Download Gametime today, and here are some of the best features when it comes to using the Gametime app. Last-minute tickets and flash deals. They've got more than just sports. They got music, comedy, theater, anything you can buy tickets to. They've got it for you. It's a very easy-to-use app with really nice views of the seats as well. It's a fantastic deal. So, again, go to create an account and then redeem code STEELERSCHAT for $20 off. One word, all caps, STEELERSCHAT for $20 off. And then also I want to let you guys know on the watch party this week on Sunday for this Rams versus Steelers matchup, we are going to be doing a $50 Gametime raffle. So not only can you automatically get $20 off when you redeem code STEELERSCHAT, but you have a chance to win an additional $50. So this is what you guys have to do to enter this week's raffle. You got to download the Gametime app. You got to open the redeem code screen. You got to redeem your code STEELERSCHAT for $20 off. You got to give me a screenshot and send that to me. And then you got to watch Sunday's watch party. So you guys can go ahead and do that. And you might be asking yourselves, where do I send the screenshot, Jack? You DM me on Twitter or Instagram. Get in touch with me right now at Jack_Sperry on Twitter or X, whatever you guys want to call it. And then also Instagram you could use as well at SpareDog.football. And if you don't have any social media, you can send it to my email, jsperry132@gmail.com. All right, so let's talk about Lael Collins here, who is definitely, at this point in the process, definitely the most accomplished offensive tackle on the open market right now. There's been a ton of teams that have expressed interest in Collins. He's worked out for a couple of teams, but I don't think it's going to be for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. I just don't really see Collins coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just don't think it's very likely for the Pittsburgh Steelers to go out and get Lael Collins at this point. I just really don't think it's likely, and here are some of the reasons why. Okay, so he's already worked out for a couple of teams so far in the process, and we can take a look at some of the Pro Football Focus grades in his career. Last year was the worst year that he's had in a while with the Cincinnati Bengals, 57.9 grade, but then in 2021, he was excellent, 82.0. So these teams that are trying to poach an offensive tackle on the free agency market are hoping that they're going to get the 2021 version and not the 2022 version. Of course, Collins did suffer a really major knee injury that some people claim he hasn't fully recovered from. That's what the Bengals said, and that's why they released him. But overall, he's been a pretty darn accomplished tackle in this league, and that's why some Steelers fans want to go get him. However, I don't think it's going to happen. He's already had workouts with the Giants and Jets who are very interested in him, but they didn't bring him in. They didn't sign him to a contract because apparently his workout wasn't all that good. He didn't look like he was moving all too well. It doesn't seem like he's fully back from that knee injury that he suffered in 2022. And the Steelers probably like what they already have at tackle as well. I know they like Broderick Jones, even though they're not playing him. I know they like Dan Moore Jr. for some reason, even though he's the lowest graded tackle in football right now. And I know they like Chukwuma Okorafor, who is somebody that I think is like a replacement level offensive tackle, but for some reason the Steelers love him. He's got a big cap hit this year, all these different things. And if you bring in Lael Collins, it's like, what are you going to do? You're gonna bench Chucks, who has almost a $14 million cap hit this year? I don't think so. I really don't see Collins becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler this year, especially because I'm not sure if Collins would even want to sign here. The Steelers barely have are just under $4 million in 2023 cap space to this point. I'm not sure Collins is going to be willing to sign for a contract that low, and I really don't think Omar Khan is going to be interested in getting anybody like a Lael Collins in NFL free agency at this point. Now, before I go, I do have something to show you guys. If you guys watched the live show this week, someone sent in a $100 super chat for me to go around parading with a Fire Matt Canada sign at the ALCS Game 3. And I actually ended up doing that. So if you want to check that out, we actually have a short of that on the channel here. And then also it's on my Twitter at Jack_Sperry. If you guys want to check that out. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button and join us for our live watch party on Sunday. We're going to be going live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Coop and I, we're going to be giving you guys an hour of pregame coverage, followed by live play-by-play post-game coverage, super chat giveaways. We got an awesome MVP item this week as well. So if you want a place to kick it with your fellow Yinzers this season, we have the largest watch parties on the YouTube platform for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So make sure you join our family today and join us on Sunday at 3 p.m. That'll be it for me today, Steelers Nation. I will see you guys later. And as always, here we go, Steelers.